This is my companion for today. She's being very clingy. But hello, my name is Lindy Jung. I am a soon-to-be traditionally published science fiction and fantasy author. My debut novel, MOTHSBLOOD, a dark academia adult fantasy, is coming out from Bloomsbury fall 2026. Yeah, that still feels really weird to say, but I'm saying it. It's the new intro. And I guess welcome back. I started filming a vlog a couple days ago because it's January 20th. It's Monday, January 20th, and it's the long weekend. And I was like, hey, you know, in my foolishness and my gullibility, I was like, I could film a long weekend productive writing vlog. I could do that. And then I did it and it was very bad. So we are going to do something a little bit different for this one. I talked a lot in my last vlog about coming back to the real world after my prolonged winter break. I've been off winter break for about a week now, but I haven't really gone into like full swing of things yet, and we are about to go into full swing of things. Like tomorrow, after this nice little Monday off, I am going to be full-time student teaching. I am going to be working 40 hours a week for no money. Sorry, I shouldn't complain. Which means that I will be doing that for 40 hours a week. And on top of that, I also have my part-time job, which is about a 10-hour-a-week workload, YouTube, and writing. So this is new for me. I'm very fortunate in that I haven't worked that many traditional 40-hour work weeks. I guess the closest thing would be Thailand. I only had around 20 hours of classes when I was teaching full-time in Thailand. Of course, I was there for the full workday, but I was writing a lot of that time, and this is going to be a very different vibe for me, so I figured I'd take you guys through this first week. I also wanted to take you guys through this week because a couple of days ago, actually right before the weekend, I got and I've printed it out and made notes. I do want to show you the paper because it's a physical prop. So this is 14 pages of chapter by chapter notes on my book on moths, and this is from my wonderful editor over at Bloomsbury, who is so astute and also so wonderfully kind, like has said some of the nicest things I think anyone has ever said about something I've written. This came in part with her edit letter to me, so that is basically a letter, I guess, or in this case, the body of an email that goes over pretty much all of the questions she has about the book, potential directions to take the edit, because it does need to get edited before it goes out, probably at least 3 dev, line, and copy. So we're on developmental edit stage, which is going to be kind of more of a macro. I've talked about developmental editing in a less formal capacity before, but it's basically looking at the story and the character arcs and the plot trajectory and figuring out if you need to add scenes or remove scenes. So it's much more large-scale stuff as opposed to line editing, which is more like, does this sentence flow? Does this make sense? And then copy editing, which is going for those typos, grammar, and also stuff like, for example, if you have made-up words because it's fantasy or sci-fi, are you using those consistently? Are they being spelled consistently? And some other stuff too. I haven't gotten to that stage yet. I'll let you guys know when I do. I don't want to like pretend I'm an expert on what these edit stages entail. We are on the first stage. We haven't done our first revision together yet, but we're both very excited. I love revising. I think it's like really fun. Of course, my perspective on that changes depending on what stage I'm currently in. I do really like revising, and I especially love collaborative revising, and I don't know, there's something about like discussing stories with people, not even my own. It always feels like I'm in like a book club. I just really like discussing story, taking apart story, going, is there a better way to do this? Sorry, she's being very active. I love having those conversations with other people, and I feel like that's where I get my spark from. That's where I get a lot of my best flashes of inspiration from, is in conversation with other people, which is why a big part of my drafting process is actually showing people early versions of like the first couple chapters of the first book, being like shameless about it, and then having a conversation. I need to respond to my editor now because I spent the weekend going over this, taking notes. I've color coded everything, so I have a section or a color for like misconceptions and misinterpretations. So if any of the chapter summaries like didn't line up with what my intentions were for that chapter, I made note of that. I don't think there were any, which is like a really nice feeling. I have a color for potential edits, so things that I made note of. I recently did kind of almost a full read through of mods. I'm not quite done yet, but I recently did a read through of mods and took comments on the way. I have questions for my editor, so if I had a specific question that I wanted to bring up, I highlighted that, and then my editor's questions for me that I feel able to answer, I also highlighted. And this is just so fun. I left so many notes. And then, oh, I should have clarified. So the main body of my editor's email is also more like general overview. Here's what I want to discuss the most. And then she also attached my manuscript with her inline comments. There's a lot to work with. I'm so excited. I don't really have any concluding thoughts. That's just kind of how I'm feeling about it. Very excited. I do have some like YouTube stuff to do, so I do want to do that as well and just get it taken care of, because there's a video I have to edit that I haven't been editing that needs to go out in 5 days, whatever. Hopefully in a couple hours as well. My partner and I are planning to go to a cafe that I've been really loving. You saw me go to it in my last vlog. Hopefully, ideally, the plan is to get a little bit of like writing in during that cafe time. So yeah, that's what we're gonna be doing today. I'm going to jump right into it and respond to this email and then check back in with you guys. She's being an absolute menace right now. You're such a menace, but you're so pretty.
Yeah, are you just very clingy right now? Is your dad asleep and not giving you attention? Okay.
I mean, I feel like every writer has a cat, and I am a dog person, 100% a dog person. These are cats that I got through my relationship, but I get it. Like, I get it, you know? I get why we like cats so much. So freaking needy. Hi. So it's been, what, like an hour or so, an hour and a half. I was able to send off that email response to my editor, and then I kind of like wasn't sure if people would be taking today off, but I got like an out of office response, so that's all good. That's taken care of. And I've also been reading a bit. I'm still working my way through God Killer by Hannah Kaner. I have not had the time to read as much as I would like to. I have been reading some poems over the past couple days, which is like, you know, more bite-sized. I don't have to kind of sit and consume a chapter. Usually a poem's like a page or a couple stanzas. And I'm doing that because I still want to have some sort of like creative writing input, if that makes sense. Something to refill my creative well. And also because Joy from the channel Write with Joy, which is an AuthorTube channel, please go check it out. She makes amazing aesthetic plant-filled videos and also is so like soothing to listen to as a source of writing insights, and I'm just so excited to follow her journey. Just a little gush slash plug for Joy. But she had left a comment on my 2024 writing reflection slash 2025 goals video talking about one of my goals, which is to continue developing my voice, like that lush literary leaning voice that I like to employ in my writing. And she recommended reading poetry. And I do like poetry. I used to be a poetry hater, but I think the person that really turned me around on poetry was Ocean Vuong, whose poems are incredible. So I've been reading like Ocean Vuong poetry, random other poetry. I think it's poetryfoundation.com has like a poem of the day that they will either email to you every day or that you can just look at on their website. So I've been reading those. Yeah, I'm not sure that I like fully get poetry sometimes, and that's like a skill issue on my part. So yeah, that's kind of what I've been doing to subsist or kind of maintain my reading as I've been getting busier and busier. It's just reading shorter and shorter things. This is on my to-read list probably for today. This is The Wood at Midwinter by Susanna Clarke, and actually my editor sent this to me along with a bunch of other Bloomsbury books, so I just want to like sit down and read them all in one sitting, but I'm a slow reader. This is like a nice kind of short one. Susanna Clarke also wrote, I always get it wrong because I say Doctor Strange every time, Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell, and also wrote Pyrenees, which is more contemporary, and I feel like a lot of people really like that one. So yeah, Susanna Clarke gets published by the same people who are going to publish me, which is really freaking cool because I really liked Pyrenees. That was also one where, like poetry, I feel like some parts of it went over my head. Again, skill issue, but I loved the way it concluded, and the language was so poetic, literary, beautiful. So very excited for this, and I like how short it is. That's kind of an update on my reading. Before I get too deep into the rest of today, you may have noticed something different about my appearance today, and you would be correct. So I did get new glasses for the first time in a very long time. I actually now have 5 pairs of glasses, which is the most glasses I've ever had ever. But 4 of those are courtesy of today's sponsor, Vooglam. So they sent me 4 pairs, including the pair that I'm wearing right now, and I'm going to just try them on and show you guys kind of what they're about, how they look. All of my glasses are prescription, and Vooglam is amazing because they have such affordable options for prescription, but also for things like blue light blocking, which is what these glasses have. If you're like me and you're a writer who ends up staring at the screen, or a YouTuber who ends up staring at the screen, or a grad student who ends up staring at the screen, you probably stare at the screen a lot. Blue light blocking really helps with eye fatigue, I've found, and the treatment for the blue light blocking on these lenses is very affordable. These are the Betsy glasses. I really love the like color blocking on these, or the color scheme, and I think they're super cute and like work with a lot of my warm toned outfits. Next up are the Natifas. I actually really like how these look on camera. The Natifas have this tortoiseshell top rim, very bold and stylized, but still a familiar silhouette. Next up are the Laishas, which I'm gonna get super close so you can see. They have this very cool, almost vaporwave kind of retro futurist multicolored color on the outside of the glasses. And then finally I chose out kind of like the wildest pair of glasses I've ever owned, and these are the Dardans. They are this like nice olive green, which is my favorite color. They have a little bit of gold on the top here, and I feel like these are so interesting, so unique. I've never seen a style like this in my life. So Vooglam offers prescription and non-prescription lenses in a wide variety of glasses styles and options. They also offer transition, progressive, and photochromic lenses, as well as the blue light blocking ones that I got on the Betsy. And again, these are all prescription glasses, so they will be added to my daily glasses rotation. One of the things I'm most impressed by is that I have a pretty strong prescription. I'm about -4 in both eyes, and usually my lenses will be like at least half an inch thick or somewhere along those lines. My lenses can get very chunky, but these are not. They're very lightweight, very thin. So yes, you can get everything, unique frames, a variety of styles, all the different kinds of lens treatments that you want for an incredible price point. So if you're in the market for new glasses, then I highly recommend checking out what Vooglam has to offer. They've given me a 15% off code to share with you guys, which will be both in the description box and the first comment below. So use the code for 15% off of your total purchase today. Thank you again to Vooglam for sponsoring. So I'm going to switch back to these because they are my blue light glasses. So I'm not going to do anything incredibly interesting, just trying to get that video edited so I can be done with it, which sounds very much like I'm ungrateful for the opportunities that YouTube has given me. I am, but sometimes video editing is just a slog. That'll be what we're getting up to today, and then I will update you guys whenever something interesting happens. Okay, bye for now. Good morning. It's currently Tuesday, January 21st. Oh my gosh. This month has gone by so fast. Originally, today, I was supposed to head over and do my first full day of student teaching, and then we got an extreme cold closure, so the entire district closed down. It's like -10 degrees out right now. Beautiful. So I'm not actually doing anything today other than I just answered some emails, like marketing publicity stuff for mods. First couple things on the docket are like my homework that's due tomorrow, because I still have homework at the big age of 27, which is delightful. I love being in grad school and being close to 30 and having to do homework. I want to do that. I want to finish editing my video. I'm so close to done with it, and I just want to schedule it and be done with it, you know? And then I might film another video, like a sit-down kind of talky video. I also have taxes coming up, so there's like a lot to get through today, but I'm glad to have this extra day to get through it. I'm determined. I'm energized, and if I have some time today, hopefully I'll get that extra little bit to write. But if not, you know, I want to get some reading done. I'm becoming more and more okay with the fact that there are a fair number of days in the week where I just won't be able to write. Hopefully today will be one, but you know, it's just like not necessarily the reality a lot of the time, especially when I'm juggling so many things. And I would like to get to the point where I'm juggling less things and it is a bit less of a grind. And I think if in terms of like aspirations in my life, that's probably the only one. But yeah, let me get something to eat. I hope to finish my homework and my YouTube video by like roughly the next 2 hours or so. And then I want to take at least an hour and do some sprints and write and just get some writing stuff done today because I've been given this gift of like an extra day. But yeah, let me do all that other stuff first and then I'll check in.
January was something that I couldn't just state, so I was like, okay, now it's time to focus on short fiction.
What are you doing? Minnie? What you doing, beautiful girl?
I don't know what was going on. Our little like AuthorTube Discord was popping off with sprints today, so I did 2 30-minute sprints at like different points in the day. And I did like the tail end of the first one, but this one I did like the one I just did. I did the whole 30 minutes, got about 700 words in. So we're looking at almost 1,000 words for today. I might just add a couple more words to round that out because I like it when my numbers are rounded out. And that was all into Crips, so draft 1 of Crips. I feel like the only time I'm working on Crips lately is to sprint on it, which is just adding new words and trying to increase the word count. But what I actually should be doing is cleaning up like chapters 2 through 2 and onward to reflect the new direction that I've taken with it. I talked about this a little bit, I think, in my last vlog, but I just slightly tweaked the main character's motivation. So I made it a little bit more immediate. I just like brought a lot of that motivation and character conflict to the forefront, so there's a more conflict heavy kind of introduction to the story instead of explanations and ramblings and setup, which is a lot of what it was at first. So just having to like change the threads in that in my already written first couple chapters is a work in progress. It'll get done eventually. But yeah, it was really nice to add some words for once. I really got into a flow state actually in this most recent run, so I just said run. It's always nice to have other people there kind of parallel play working alongside you as well. That's just a little update for today. And then tomorrow I work, and then the day after that I have meetings. I have a class meeting, like a school meeting, and then I have my editor meeting, so I will definitely update you guys after that. Bye. It's so early. Ugh. Hi, so here's the thing. It's 8:30 at night. I'm getting gas right now, and I need to be in bed by I need to be asleep by 10. I really don't know if I'm going to get any writing done today, but I slacked off in class and I read through mods and I read like 100 pages throughout the day. So that at least is something. And I feel like that's kind of like the moral of the story is you just take your wins when you can get them. I woke up at 6, got ready for the day, left the house at like 7:10-ish, worked a full school day after a 1-hour commute. Went to night classes, 2.5, almost 3 hours of that. Just got home after a 1-hour drive again. When am I supposed to do with that? And I very, very much need to do some things like meal prep a little bit better because my meal today was a little scandalous. It was literally like an Uncrustable like you used to get at school, and some Jaffa cakes, and and like a leftover salad from dinner last night. So yeah, it's one of those weeks where I'm just like trying to get through it. I think I just need to adapt to this new schedule. And also it's snowing quite a bit. Almost crashed the car 3 separate times. I'm not exaggerating. My brakes just cannot handle the snow. Yeah, today was just rough. Today is rough. I'm gonna try to have a nice evening at least before I get up to do it all again tomorrow. Snowy. Oh yeah, I'm sorry. Good morning, except this time it's actually morning. I'm actually about to start filming a video, but today is the day of my big editorial call with my editor. Super excited to chat. I feel like I kind of don't even know where to start with the conversation, so I'm hoping that she leads it, but I will definitely update you guys once that happens. Sorry, I need my tea. So for the agenda for today, I am going to film a really quick video. It's going to be a video basically about advice for young writers because I've gotten a couple comments like that. I would not quantify myself as a young writer by any means, but I was once, and I feel like, you know, hindsight is 20/20. I have some advice or things to dispense maybe. I also have a school related meeting at 11. It's currently around 9, and then after that I think I'm gonna write. I think I'm just gonna straight up try to find this time before I fully commit myself to thinking about mods editorially 24/7. That's gonna be all that's on my brain. I would like to put some words into Crips. There's a couple things on my mind, particularly pertaining to deadlines. I really need to have those conversations. I'm actually going to email my agent really quick and ask if the deadline I have in mind for mods edit is acceptable or not, or if it's way too long. I can't tell because I just have no context for that sort of thing. So I'm going to ask my agent that. And that's a tip in general. I feel like in my previous agent relationships, and even now to a certain extent, because you're always like, oh, I don't know if I'm bothering them or not. You're not bothering them. It's a working relationship. As long as your questions are professionally worded and professional in general, there's no harm in asking them. That's definitely something I'm going to have to remind myself of as I continue through this process, because there's just so much I don't know. For more information on traditional publishing and the publishing industry and how a book gets made, you know, I do have a couple of resources. So lately, because I've been kind of in this anxiety mode about all this, or just like a collecting information mode, I just want to know as much as possible about every step of the process. I have been watching Lizelle Sambury's videos. She is so wonderfully transparent about traditional publishing and her experiences as a multi-book published author. And I've also been listening to the Publishing Rodeo podcast, which is hosted by Scott Drakeford and Sinya Dean, both of who are published adult science fiction and fantasy writers with Tor, I believe. So they have guests. Most of them are authors, but some people, like there was a woman in a recent episode I watched or listened to, I guess, who was like, she basically came on because she had statistical analysis of what makes books succeed in the market. And it's just wonderfully transparent. It's also a little bit like cathartic to hear that even more experienced authors are maybe going through similar anxieties and situations. So that's a wonderful resource as well. Yeah, that's kind of also like what I look up to in terms of the kind of, I don't think I'll be quite as transparent as maybe like Publishing Rodeo, but I definitely want to just share a lot and be honest and not sugarcoat and be like everything is sunshine and rainbows and flowers all the time. Like, no, I have quite a bit of anxiety. It's like right now excited anxiety because nothing's happened yet. At the time of filming this, we haven't even announced. We're actually going to announce in a week. I want to share the ups and the downs and kind of like the middles, I guess, the boring parts as you sit and wait for stuff, which is a lot of publishing. I might be getting sick. I don't know. Hopefully not. But that is my update for this morning. After the call, I'll probably do a big, long kind of final update for the day and then log off on this vlog because that's it. We're done. That is stage 1 of the editorial process, is just the brainstorming part and getting things together, and then I'll be diving into actual edits, and that will be another vlog, I think, or video. Of course, I'm going to take you guys along for as much of it as I can. Honestly, I do feel bad because I mean, like, I love an aesthetic vlog, and I know that there's so many wonderful creators out there making aesthetic vlogs lately, but my life is not very aesthetic right now. It is hunched over in the dark, 11 p.m. writing session, waking up at 6 to go to work the next day, feeling bad about myself. Like, it's not quite going to cafes, although I have been doing that more. I have been doing that. It's not good to watch, maybe, or not entertaining in the same way. It's gonna be a lot of like sleep deprived rambles, if you guys are into that. I feel like as I get more and more desperate and starved for time, it's just gonna be more and more messy in terms of the vlogs. And this one is already feeling kind of messy. Okay, some work to do, and then we're gonna film and then write. Bye. So I just finished my meeting with my wonderful editor. That was a lovely little like hour-long editorial call. I feel bad because like my time zone is in a way where it's just slightly inconvenient for someone in like New York, but it went really well. We talked about all sorts of things. We talked about like publishing logistics and like also, of course, the edits that I'm going to be embarking on. We talked about my timeline for this book, or the timeline for this book in general. And so I have an official deadline for my book, which is fascinating. And I mean, it's just so surreal because, you know, I've kind of had self-imposed deadlines and agent deadlines and like, you know, fake kind of deadlines, less serious deadlines, but now this is one where it's like, I finish my book and then it's out of my hands and it goes to production, and yeah, wild. So we're looking at a pretty, honestly, like, I don't know if my scale for this or metric for this is just messed up, but to me this doesn't feel like a heavy edit. Like, I'm not really doing any heavy lifting in terms of messing with the structure or anything. It's like more small tweaks, and like the overall arc and trajectory of the plot and the character arcs are pretty much going to stay intact, which is really cool. I don't know how it happened. It seems like I accidentally wrote like a relatively polished manuscript. It's less work on this end, which is really nice, and I think that's what I'm gonna strive to do every time, except I don't really know how I did it this time. So there's that. I have like obviously all my notes to go through. I'm gonna kind of like start collecting my thoughts. Honestly, I'm probably going to dive into revisions like tonight before the sickness really hits me and then my brain becomes mashed potatoes and I can't do anything. I feel pretty good about this. That call gave me a lot of a lot of validation because my editor is so sweet and kind to me. I feel confident. I feel ready to tackle this edit. I feel like I have a strong idea of what I'm going to do, which is almost more important than like any other part of revisions. And so I have my plan. I have like all of my editor's notes. It's like she's right here with me. And I think all that's left to do is to really just like dive in and start and try to like front load as much of the work as possible so I have time to do a pass before I send it back. I have about 2 months. I have 2 months. I have a little bit more than I have 2 months and a couple days. I guess considering that February is a short month, I have 2 normal months. So that's pretty much what I'm going to be doing for the foreseeable future. That's what you're going to be seeing in the next vlog. I'm going to be working on these edits, trying to get this book in, trying to get it into the best shape that I possibly can. And I guess I'll talk a bit more in depth about that in a future video, but for now, thank you so much for coming along with me. If you're interested in following more of my writing and now publishing journey, you can go ahead and subscribe to this channel. Other than that, you can find me on Instagram, you can find me on Blue Sky. I'm Lindy Jung in both places. That's pretty much it. Let's go ahead and get this edit. It's going to be a whirlwind 2 months. Bye.